Your life is always now, never not now. What we call past and future, their only reality is they are thought forms in the human mind. In your experience, in your immediate experience, they cannot exist, they do not exist. There is no past and future. All you can know about past and future, about the passing of time, is what time does to things. You remember when you look in the mirror, I'm saying this inspired by the anti-aging cream, you look in your mirror in the bathroom and then you get a photo of yourself 20 years ago and you compare them and then you can say, oh, time did that. Time did that to me. So time is a little bit like a criminal, leaves evidence everywhere. Wherever you look, you can see, well, yes, time. Evidence that time seems to exist is everywhere, not just the bathroom mirror, everywhere. And yet, you can never catch the criminal. Just very elusive. So in your immediate experience, there is no such thing as past and future. In your immediate experience, there's only now. Only in the mind, the human mind, which is the movement of thought, there time has its existence. And the more you are identified with the movement of thinking, the more important time is for you. And collectively, of course, time has never been more important to humans than in our civilization, this present civilization. Everybody, almost everybody is stressed. Everybody says there's not enough time. Everybody lives always towards the next thing, the next moment, the next day, the next hour. Always living towards that. This is so deeply ingrained that people don't even realize it anymore. We are gathered here tonight in order to realize, of course many of you already are realizing that there is another dimension in every human being that we could call the timeless dimension. And for most people on the planet, it doesn't exist. They don't know that that is there. And that it would free them if they could only be conscious of that dimension within. It would free them of an enormous amount of suffering, unhappiness, discontent that is there when your state of consciousness is completely dominated by time, past and future. So, a word for this, the realization of the timeless dimension of consciousness, a word that we could use for this realization is the word awakening. You awaken out of identification with this continuous stream of thoughts that produces what we call time. This is why we are here. We are not denying that we still need to handle time in our everyday life on a practical level. To make an appointment and so on. That's fine. But we do not need to be dominated by time psychologically. We are here in order to deepen or accelerate the awakening that is already happening in almost every one of you that is sitting here, because it is that which has brought you here. If you were not awakening already to the timeless dimension of consciousness in yourself, you would find it very frustrating to be sitting here. And gradually the frustration would build up, the impatience, the restlessness of the mind that would be saying, "What is he talking about? I have no idea, it doesn't make sense. What's he talking about? He's been talking for 15 minutes and I don't know what he's saying. He has not given me information. He hasn't told me something new. Yes, at the present moment, he already said that 5 years ago. There's only the now. I came for something new to take home. Some new bit can add to myself. Okay. What's the next thing he's going to say? There it is. So if you can be sitting here and enjoying being here, somehow you don't know why you enjoy being here and sitting here, but somehow it feels there's a rightness to it, and there's almost a recognition of all these words that you hear are simply confirming what deep down you already know. And the words, of course, in themselves are not all that important. They are merely little signposts that point beyond themselves. They are not explanations, it's not philosophy. Nothing, even a complete explanation of the universe wouldn't help you if you cannot awaken out of the time-bound state of consciousness. So all this is, the words are there on the surface. The words are not the essence of this gathering. The essence of this gathering is within you. It is within you, and it emerges as you sit there in a state of simple receptiveness or presence. You simply hear, just as I sit here in the simple state of presence, and out of that the words come. So the words appear in your consciousness, in the space of your consciousness. And if you can sit here and be aware, I'm giving you already, when you learn public speaking, they say don't tell them the important things until the end, but I'm telling you the important things now, in case you have something more important to go to, so then you can go. It was the Buddha, if that's what he said, the deathless realm, Amaravati, the deathless realm. He also points to the dimension that is at the core of every human being, only waiting to be discovered, realized, covered up in many humans. And when that dimension is covered up, and please remember as you sit here, Be aware of your presence as an entire field of consciousness, as well as the words. Your presence is more fulfilling, more alive, more deeply fulfilling than these words could ever be. If you don't even have a glimpse of your own presence as you sit there, the simple fact of the awareness that you are. You can't catch it, it's just there, no form. That is so much more fulfilling than these words could ever be. Without that awareness of awareness, the words are silly. If you don't have the words plus that to which the words point. If you don't have that, then all you have is the words, and then you're like the person, the reviewer of The Power of Now for Time magazine, Time, said, what was the expression he used? Mumbo jumbo, something like that, didn't make sense. There was nothing inside, well, it was there, but it was covered up, that could respond to the words. So the words are here to pull out not just the words, but also the presence of the speaker, which is no different from your presence. And so there's a meeting. And there is an energy field in the room of presence that makes it easier to stay in that state. And if the speaker stopped speaking, it wouldn't matter very much. In fact, some of you who are already deeply connected with this presence that you are, perhaps would even wish that the speaker would stop speaking. Wouldn't it be so much better if he would shut up? And if that's what you're thinking, you're right. It would be. The only reason why the speaker continues to speak is that there's still some of you, I don't know how many, who would be very frustrated and would run out of the room. So we'll keep you here through the words, and continuously, as you listen, sense that presence that you are. We could call that also, of course, a stillness within. Just another pointer. It is the dimension of stillness. Now, what is stillness? Stillness is the inner equivalent of silence outside. And what is silence outside? Silence is the absence of noise. That's defining it in negative terms. Silence is the absence of noise. And then if silence is the absence of noise, stillness, what is this inner, the stillness, is, of course, the absence of the movement of thinking. This is again defining it in negative terms. But stillness is more than just the absence of thoughts. Stillness is the very essence of who you are, because stillness is consciousness itself, before it becomes something, before it becomes a thought, before it becomes an emotion, before it becomes a sense perception. There's the unconditioned dimension of consciousness.